What is going on, guys? I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Parker Nierenstein. This is Vehicle Versions, and today I'm giving you 5 things I hate about my new Mercedes Maybach. The first thing I hate about the Mercedes Maybach is its looks. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a pretty car, but to the untrained eye, it looks exactly the same as every other S-Class on the road. Whether it's a base model S-Class or a Maybach, really the only way to tell is subtle changes, and sure, there's a V12 badge. Really, the only way to tell for the untrained eye, other than the chrome, is this right here. Now, on the old car, when you spent well over $200,000, $300,000, it felt like you got a Maybach, not a Mercedes Maybach. Now, that's the difference, right? The Maybach had this panache, this style, this feeling to it when it approached that, whoa, that is a Maybach. This, now there's a positive to it, it rolls a little bit incognito, but when you spend over $200,000, it'd be nice to, have an actual Maybach. Why is there a Mercedes logo in the front? Well, it's all branding, they sell more of them, but honestly, I think this car could have had a more exciting exterior. Well, the exterior is undeniably a bit boring, but that could be a good thing if you want an understated presence. There is no denying that Mercedes absolutely crushed it with the new S-Class interior. The level of technology, the lighting, the feel, the space, pretty much everything about it, they knocked it out of the park. The only issue is, it's virtually identical to an S63 and an S65. And the S63 4MATIC is all-wheel drive, and this is rear-wheel drive, and it's cheaper. The S63 is a little faster. So it kind of starts wondering, what exactly is the difference? I mean, of course, the engine and a couple little tweaks between a Maybach versus an S63, and why would you get one versus the other? Now, in the interior, sure, there's a couple differences, like this lovely pillow right here. Now, I will say, this is beautiful design language. It's classy, and I would probably sleep on this at nighttime. But other than that, when you turn on the screens, it says Maybach, but this is all coding. I mean, you could really do that after the fact if you wanted to. It's certainly not a difficult thing to do for Mercedes. But what I'm a bit disappointed in is not the overall car. The overall car is incredible, but it feels like they kind of went down in terms of the luxury appeal of the brand. Like all of a sudden bringing the Ghibli into Maserati, it almost lowers the quality of the brand. Mercedes is an incredible company, but Maybach was slotted above it, and now they've kind of hybridized the two of them. That's just an interesting strategy that I'm not sure if I fully understand, but I'm sure Mercedes knows what they are doing. That being said, the level of customizability in this car is very, very limited. And that means that the majority of them are black, the majority of them are black interior, and pretty much every Maybach looks the exact same. Whereas the old cars were much more customizable, more custom tailored to you. You could have partitions. The Landaulet had a convertible in the back, yet the front was closed, and just crazy stuff, weird skylight roofs that made the Maybach have this wow factor. And regarding the lighting, now, it's beautiful. It's absolutely incredible, and honestly, when it came out, it was a selling point. The interior of the S-Class just sold it right away. It didn't matter anything else. But they kind of updated it a little bit too quick. This car has 8 different ambient light colors, which is more than enough. But when you find out, in a couple years later, they've got 64 different ambient light colors, and they're customizable, and you can do half one color, half the other color, and then the screen's a little better. It's kind of disappointing to the people who just bought the previous one. Now, I understand they have to do mid-cycle updates, but it wasn't that big of an update. It just made it slightly better. It was kind of annoying. Now, it's pretty hard to find flaws with the Mercedes Maybach. It honestly is almost a perfect car, and that's a very difficult thing to do. There's a lot of moving parts here, but Mercedes is the king at making sure everything is high quality and great design. That being said, in 2016, when the Maybach came out, it was only rear-wheel drive. That means that if you live in a snowy climate, like where I lived at the time where I wanted one of these, but I lived in Michigan, this, first and foremost, for you guys, and it drives like one, is kind of still a driver's car. Sure, you can have a driver and sit in the back, but that's not really my style. 99.999% of the time, I want to be behind the driver's seat. This is an ultimate daily driver. It really is. But if you can't use it in certain scenarios because there's snow or ice or sleet or heavy rain, it becomes a little bit less useful. Now, they fixed it. The S63 4MATIC, which actually you could get for a similar price to this used, that comes with all-wheel drive. It's actually a little bit faster. It's certainly faster off the line, and it's more practical. Now, long-distance trips in this car are some of the best things you could possibly do. It's an interstate cruiser. It's a Autobahn absolute destroyer. It's fast, it has a high top speed. The V12 is soothing, it's smooth, and it just accelerates seamlessly. The last thing I hate about the Mercedes Maybach is its size. This thing is absolutely massive. In fact, it's 9 inches longer than a standard S-Class, which is already a huge car. Now, what is the problem with that? Yes, you get more legroom, you get more trunk space. Everyone wants bigger and bigger and bigger. This happens in cycles as gas prices go down. People want huge cars. Now, it looks stately, it looks expensive, it looks cool, but it's not that practical. At 216 inches long, that means parking in parking spots is difficult. You guys know, you go to shopping centers and it's just challenging to park in your normal car. The parking spots are too small. It seems like every single one is compact. You're trying to park a giant whale inside of a parking garage. It can be very, very difficult. Now, you end up getting door dings from people, or the rear of the car sticking out, and you look like a jerk when you're driving a car that's expensive and you park improperly. And please don't ever park in handicapped spots. What I'd like to see is this. The reality is the Maybach is no longer in a price bracket that makes sense to have a driver. Nobody's gonna spend $220,000 on a car and then hire a driver when it's actually good to drive. It's a great car to drive. You'd rather be in the front seat. Maybe sometimes you're in the back seat just occasionally. But what if Mercedes made a Maybach that was more compact? It had rear wheel steering, it was more nimble. Look, you could be 7'10" in the back of this thing and you have plenty of legroom. What about for people who are, I don't know, 6'9" or 6'5" and under? That's plenty large to have plenty of room. A compact Maybach, it's stealthy, it's quick, it's more nimble. That's right up my alley. Well guys, I mean honestly, it's hard to nitpick an S-Class, especially a Maybach. I love this car. Those are pretty much all of the negatives, and none of them are that big of a deal. If you're fine taking a little bit of extra time parking, you're fine that it's not that different. Maybe you love that it's understated and it's nice on the inside. Nobody needs to know what's going on and how opulent it is inside. That's cool too. But for me, you know, when you're spending this much money on a car, I want it to feel a little bit more special. But still, for the value of these things now, not new, but used, holy moly, this is a good deal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. Remember, new merch coming soon. Notification bell on. I look forward to seeing you next video.